Hello and welcome to this, the latest Books Crypto Club catch-up on Zoom. It's Sunday, the 29th of August, 2021, and today we're going to be talking about whatever we end up talking about. Tends to be about cryptocurrency, blockchain, DLT, DeFi, NFTs, the metaverse, whatever really. So we record these sessions every week. Do click on the subscribe button, click on the like if you enjoy what you see, make a comment. Come along and join in a meeting in future. We do meet every Sunday evening, 7 p.m. UK time. So come and see who's going to join us today and what we're going to talk about. I see we've got someone joined us from their iPhone, which they've left pointing at the ceiling. Hello. Say hi. Oh, he's just looking. It's interesting. Look. I feel as though I'm at the bottom of a microscope at the moment.
How you doing, Gary? How are you?
Hey, Paula. I'm good, thanks. How's life?
Not too bad, not too bad. Dialing in from Ireland.
Oh, right. Okay, fantastic. The green land. I've been there enough times and enough rain to know why it's always so green. Beautiful country.
Plenty of rain over here. Plenty of rain.
Yeah, no idea how many people are going to be joining us today. Might be a bit of a mixed bag because I put this out in a few groups. And the idea for everyone who's listening at the moment is just totally open. We end up talking about whatever, whether it's cryptocurrency, blockchain, DeFi, NFTs, or whatever. Started this originally to educate people. And we've got a mixture of people who are, we sometimes have people who are quite good experts in trading, other people who are really into blockchain quite a deep way, and we've got complete novices at the other end of the spectrum as well. So we're open to everybody. So Paula, where would you put yourself? What kind of level are you at with this kind of stuff?
I've been involved since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't call myself a trader. I don't try and trade. I'm just involved. I've just been involved.
Well, 2016 in this day and age makes you a veteran.
It does.
I think, doesn't it?
It does seem to do that. Yes.
Yeah, because I started getting interested not long before that myself, and then I actually set up as an independent working in blockchain in 2016 as well. But I've always found it fascinating. So that's good. Well, we'll see who comes along today. All I say to people is please do share anything that you know, or if you have any questions, it's really good opportunity to make sure we can cover them off as well. So it makes it worthwhile people coming along to these sessions and people watching afterwards as well. I don't know, have you got any hints, tips, thoughts, questions, problems, ideas?
Oh God, do you know, I've got loads of them. Probably take too long. I'd be curious to know where you feel the market is going at the moment, whether you would be a believer in lengthening cycles maybe, or the 4-year cycle theory.
I think for me, it kind of varies. I tend to take a step back. I'm actually more interested in the technology than the price movements. So I've seen so many upswings, downswings. All I've learned about the market is that in a bull market where the price is going up, more and more experts appear out of nowhere. You know, and in a rising market, everyone's an expert. Is all I can say. What I have seen is for last week with Bitcoin, I think it's been actually relatively flat. There's been some undulations, but it's been going up and down a little bit. Similar to Ethereum, which I think is still rising gradually. We'll pull up some charts in a minute. And we'll see what they kind of look like. But probably a good person to pick on actually is Sam, who's just joined us. Because I know, Sam, you're fairly active in the market. What do you think's going on this week?
Well, I wouldn't I love to know. But according to Bitcoin super cycles in the past, like there shouldn't really be a downswing for me. Like maybe a minimal correction, but what it seems is that I think is it 80-something% of people have taken their Bitcoin off exchanges, so it's very scarce. No one's really selling, but at the same time, no one's really buying. So we get into this kind of flat period. The 50K kind of level or 51K, this golden pocket of resistance seems to be problematic. If Bitcoin breaks it and stays above it, we'll be looking at a very, very bullish week next week, and I could see Bitcoin rising to 58K. I mean, really, it should do that based on the past, but, you know, in crypto, you never know.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, I think I've got the Bitcoin USDT chart up at the moment. And that shows, as you say, on the 23rd, it went through the 50K barrier briefly and then dropped away. And then since then, it kind of like flatline for a while down here on the 40, that seems rather low, 46.8 mark. That seems to be like kind of almost channeling between those two. And it's just kind of hovering somewhere in between at the moment.
It needs to get to 49 before the futures markets open up, really. That would be ideal.
Okay.
If it gets to that level, when the Bitcoin futures markets open up, and they're due to open up in Asia pretty soon,
okay,
that would be ideal. If it was only slightly beneath, and at the moment it's only slightly beneath, that wouldn't be a worst case scenario, to be honest. I just really want to see it break that golden pocket on the Fibonacci's of resistance, and if it does, the altcoins will go up, and I'm going to be able to I'm going to predict I'm going to be able to cash out some healthy profits.
Okay. So. Well, it might tie in with what you're saying about the futures markets opening soon, because one of the things I picked up on, everyone's always talking about correlating events to price changes. And I always say in crypto, there's actually no correlation. The only correlation I have discovered, and this isn't a recommendation, is that prices seem to go up after this crypto catch-up. So, now, whether that's because everyone's running away afterwards, I somehow doubt. But you're right, Sunday evening, things do seem to wake up a little bit. And I think it could well be Asia waking up Monday morning. Might be the kind of thing on that. So we'll see if anyone else has got any other thoughts. Natasha, you've joined us, but through the chat, you said you're not a novice. Is that a complete novice right at the beginning, or one of these novices who's been doing it for about 5 years? Well, I don't think Natasha wants to speak to us at the moment. But we do have someone who's coming on his iPhone who's watching. Come and say hi.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, good, perfect.
Excellent. Okay, I saw you coming in before, and it looked more like I was at the bottom of a microscope.
Because of the phone. Yeah, sorry.
Welcome to the group. Welcome for coming along. I was saying to some of the others before, you may have heard, and this is the same with anyone really. Do feel free to share any ideas, thoughts, opinions. Or if you're a novice, then ask any questions. If you're an expert, please do share.
I'm not sure about the point of Asia, but I do know, for example, every weekend usually they go down because people they're closing the futures or the forward contracts, or option contracts. So usually the weekend they seem to go down. Okay. I'm not sure about the start of the week though. But you may be right about Asia Pacific region a bit earlier, so they started the trend first.
Okay. It'll certainly be interesting. I do get the feeling that the beginning of September is going to be an interesting month. So we shall see what goes on. But I don't know if anyone's been watching what's been happening with Ethereum in the last week or so. And again, it seems to be kind of like channeling, broadly speaking, between the 1800 and an awful lot more. You know, the one over a period.
Since the London fog, Ethereum has been pretty much on fire. I think people in the DeFi sector, they were very excited about that. Mm-hmm. And I think a bit more technically, you start to see the Ethereum start to decouple from the traditional that they would go into a trend with Bitcoin. Okay. And that's kind of quite exciting. You can see the Ethereum kind of standing out on its own now.
So what I thought was interesting with Ethereum was the fact that they did the hard fork a few weeks ago, which included EIP 1559, which is an improvement process to do with reducing the available supply. And it was interesting that initially it kind of like rocketed up, and now it seems to have like settled down and gone back to normal again.
It's been accumulating, that's for sure. Like as if Bitcoin just breaks this 51K, Ethereum's due a massive run, and I can see a lot of traders getting in. Same with XRP, really. There's a few little bull flags or accumulation periods going on. We know in crypto, if you've got a healthy coin with good use cases, which Ethereum is probably one of the best examples of that, if there's been a long accumulation process during a bull run, then it's going to go pretty much upwards sooner or later. It's going to have to retest its all-time high sooner or later. So I could see it easily breaking $4,000 next week. If Bitcoin just shatters that stubborn resistance point, it will really there'll be quite a lot of FOMO, I think, in the markets. But I'm quite healthily invested into Ethereum already, so happy days.
So you certainly got your fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
I think you're right that if Bitcoin goes into an uptrend again, we're going to see a return of all the altcoins kind of clustering and following for a while. And then we'll see where it goes. But as I keep saying, this is not investment advice. This is just opinions. I really should just have a little disclaimer at the bottom of the screen all the time and that kind of thing. So I see we've got, who's this? Got a few more coming in today as well. Case, is it? My apologies if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Did he come through? No. Talk amongst yourselves as people connect, I guess. So, Paula, what brought you into the crypto space?
I came into the crypto space as a content creator that's disillusioned with Web 2, looking for an alternative way forward.
So you thought Web 3, that's the thing.
Web 3, yeah, I'm gung-ho on Web 3. I'd be a keen supporter on any Web 3 blockchains, Web 3 applications, all that sort of stuff. But I'm coming from the perspective of I work online every day. I deal with these centralized organizations every day. And I just, for the content creator like myself, I know there's a better way of doing things.
So in terms for content creation on blockchain, tell us a bit more about what that means.
Well, there aren't really too many viable options. There are options out there. But I think content creation on blockchain isn't there yet. We still don't have a Web3 protocol that all blockchains can work together on. At the moment, we've got loads of little islands that are just standing out there on their own, and that's not what the internet is. So we need to get to a stage. The technology isn't ready. None of the blockchain technology is ready for mass adoption. I mean, you try and use anything and it stops working. So we're not there yet. Now, I have done some blockchain blogging. I've used Hive, I've used Steam, I've used stuff like that. I was very successful on both of them platforms for quite a long time. But, you know, there's, with all these DAC sort of systems, there's power struggles. You can't get away from that with human nature. And I think blockchain and what blockchain stands for still has a long, long way to go.
So where's Steam of late? Because that really was in the forefront of things in terms of community content collaboration, payment for effort, all this kind of thing. Then it seemed to go a little bit quiet. I've not heard much about it lately.
Steam got taken over. There was a fight between centralization and decentralization, and the owner of Steam, or well, the owner of the company Steam Inc., should I say, sold out. And he sold out with holding quite a big bag. And the promise to the community was that this big bag would be used for community development and such and such. It wasn't. It was all bought by Justin Sun. It was then used for voting. He voted out the current witnesses and voted in his own witnesses. So the community got together and forked. So there's now Hive, and the Steam community now all run from Hive. So you won't find very many people on Steam. There's a lot of Asian people on Steam now, but Justin Sun's Asian, so that's right up his alley. But there was a massive fight between centralization and decentralization. It was quite an interesting experience to go through.
I guess it's something we're going to see more of. I see we've got Fernando's joined us as well. Good afternoon, Fernando.
Hi guys. Sorry about background noise. Yeah, I'm in a cafe.
And
I'm traveling at the moment.
I was going to say, which country is this cafe in, by any chance?
I'm in Ukraine at the moment.
You're in Ukraine. Okay.
I have my tech team here, so I have to come and push them.
Okay. Fair enough. So, you've been watching what's been going on in the crypto space this week?
Yeah, Ethereum was a good one. I warned everyone, you know, and this is just the beginning. Yeah. And there's a lot more coming, believe me.
Yeah. Well, I guess talking in terms of predictions and that, you were one of the advocates, and I know Sam will probably be interested in this one as well, around World Mobile Token. Is there any further news or developments with that? Because the TGE finished successfully when they raised, was it $39 million?
I haven't actually had a chance to chat with them because I've been traveling for the last 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay. And so I don't know the current state. I know the TGE was all this month, but look, they're a Cardano project, right? For quite some time. They have IOHK as one of the funding partners of the project as well. The guy, one of the founders, is I mean, he did a good exit, you know, traditional startups, you know, he's a young guy, but not very well-known guy. So the team is great, you know, and they have a very strong telco background as well. So they have all the combination, you know, to succeed, to be really one of the good projects on Cardano.
Okay, that's good, because I think I saw the announcement where they were going to focus on, was it Tanzania to begin with the mobile app?
Yeah, that's what, yeah, correct. And I think that's what, that's why Charles was so much, you know, I don't know if you heard since the beginning of the year, he was talking a lot about that, you know, about that project. And it is to solve one of the problems that is still in Africa, and I think they're going to do it, you know. They have strong support. The money is really well, I mean, when I looked at what the money was for, you know, I thought it was very well thought, you know, how they're going to put all the equipment all around. I think it's 3 countries to start with. You know?
In where, sorry?
3 countries in Africa to start with.
3 countries, okay. Because, I think I saw, wherever it was I just mentioned, as the first country. So, okay, we'll keep an eye on
Tanzania is the first one. Yeah, correct.
Okay. Oh, we'll keep an eye on that. I don't know if anyone else has got any comments about any other crypto that they're looking at the moment. Anything they'd like to share?
Nothing about NFTs, guys?
Oh, that's going crazy. Everything around gaming is going crazy.
That market is going to overheat, though. That market's going to overheat.
I guess you're not an NFT fan then, no?
I'm a big NFT fan, but I want them to put the money back into the cryptocurrencies and get it going. They're going to have to, those people won't leave their money in NFTs. Like, once they've sold them, they're going to reinvest, surely. They're going to have to put it back into Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana. They won't be satisfied, even if they got big gains and they think there's more gains to come. They'll replow that money back into crypto as long as the bull run is continuing. But it's kind of annoying me, because I think if they were if they weren't getting into this NFT space so much in this NFT bubble, they'll be just putting it into the altcoins a bit more. So yeah, but it certainly seems to be a very bright market at the moment. But you know, we know what it's like. It can't go on forever, can it?
Well, yeah, I mean, ATA, I think it was ATA this week went up like in one day 240%. I was like, I couldn't believe it, but it is actually a great project. It's a great project because of all the gaming and the NFTs integration into it. You know, it's really cool, you know. But it's just people, they're just like, they're going to use these projects that they have their own cryptocurrency. It's going to happen the same. They're basically the traditional investors, traders, whatever you want to call, people want to make a buck. You know, they're going to switch between all of the crypto. It doesn't matter if it's NFTs or not, yeah, because a lot of these actually are creating as well their own cryptocurrency because of the ecosystem that they are creating. So it will continue to fuel. One fuels the other. So I think it's going to continue for a while.
I wonder if it was.
I hope so.
I wonder. I mean, just looking at the top NFTs at the moment, which go up on the screen, it almost feels like we're going through another CryptoKitties phase of it's the on trend or whatever, where people are just getting into them, and certainly the CryptoPunks were one of the leaders on this as well, where I think everyone's just piling in because it's something that's going up in price, but they don't actually understand what it is that they're buying.
Is it expensive to mint on Binance?
Well, you don't mint on Binance usually, do you? You'd normally mint. They do have a minting platform now, don't they? Well, they've got this marketplace that they're talking about here.
Yeah.
But I don't actually see where you got the minting.
Right, the first word under there is mint. Mint, purchase, and bid on the world's.
But Bakery Swap already has an NFT marketplace for nearly a year. And they have BSC, so there's some of these swaps, they already have an NFT market space. BSC already supports it for a while. So they're going to continue. There's going to appear more and more. And yes, absolutely, you're right. It's a lot cheaper to mint them there, but I don't think there is a way to transfer them to anything, to any of the other chains, basically. You get stuck for the BSC there.
Okay. I wonder if someone like OpenSeas or Rarible will switch to it, though, because one of the problems with that is that they're using the Ethereum blockchain, if I remember correctly. Which the gas fees. Well, yeah, Wax and Tezos is the other one, isn't it? The other popular ones.
They could do something to utilize Matic or Polygon or whatever they call themselves now.
Oh, I hate second layers. Second layers, basically you're centralizing everything again. Yeah, and that's why. Just right. Please remember what I'm saying. I think you're going to start to see hacks on second layers. Yeah? You're going to start to see, because they are not strong in terms of security. They can't be if they are centralizing everything again. Yeah. So, it's faster, cheaper fees, of course, but I don't like to do anything on second layer at all. I'm quite scared of it, to be honest. Someone will disappear, or it's going to happen.
But that happens on first layers too. As long as smart contracts are involved and every Tom, Dick and Harry is throwing one up, you'll have a problem.
Yeah, sure, I agree with you. It's just, if you look at a pure blockchain implementation that is fully decentralized, distributed, not just centralized, distributed as well, then, the security is better. It's impossible. No, of course not. You can never guarantee that it's impossible to be hacked. But, if you go
blockchains are impossible to hack, but that's all. Everything that's built on top of the blockchain can be hacked.
I'm a cybersecurity guy since 12 years old, so don't tell me, please. Nothing is impossible to hack. It's many different ways.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not completely impossible to hack. I do get that. Yeah. Okay. So you need your 51% attack. That's fine. So it's not going to happen. But you don't need that sort of hash power to hack software.
Ultimately, I think you're right. It's more in terms of people exploiting bugs within smart contract code seems to be the way that a lot of exploits are at the moment, as opposed to trying to hack, in inverted commas, an exploit of a weakness in the underlying blockchain layer.
So Ethereum, why did it fork? It was not a smart contract, pure implementation of one smart contract. Yeah, and there was a bug in part of the software, and it forced a fork. Those things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And Ethereum, and if you go then to proof of stake, I mean, when I look this back, when I was doing my cybersecurity, the one, Gary, we look at POS. POS is not secure. It doesn't matter how much. I told Vitalik, I asked Vitalik when he came to the Imperial College to do that talk back in 2019. I asked him 2 questions, how he's going to solve the problem, And his answer was that, yes, we have solutions for that, and I haven't seen them yet. But
I think if I remember that talk, I wasn't convinced he understood the questions you were asking. If I remember in terms of the answers he gave, I think he was actually answering a different question without necessarily reason. But yeah, but ultimately, anything that's coded is a threat vector in some way. But I think it's the probabilities of things. I'm with Paul on this. A smart contract is probably going to be easier to exploit bugs because they've been probably in all probability less tested, less reviewed. The whole thing on that. You look at the quality of some of the code that has gone through, and you discover when there's like a DeFi hack or something goes on, and you look at some of the errors that have been made. Now, I'm not a coder, so I'm not going to claim to be a brilliant. In fact, the very fact I'm not a coder is because I wasn't very good at it. But it does seem to be more likely that the smart contract layer is going to be the area that gets attacked more often. Either that, or it seems a few are sussing out how smart contracts interoperate as well. Yeah. So that they're doing things like, oh, well, if I put this on Pancake Swap and then move this to this, and then that will cause a market effect and blah, blah, blah type thing, which I think was what some of the early stuff was as well, where there were a few hacks where people were doing market manipulation ultimately. So it wasn't actually a bug as such. It was just that they figured what the algorithms were and they were exploiting them. So it happens.
Stephen found a little loop the other day in moving things from Binance to CoinDesk or something. Oh, sorry, what's one they use in America? Coinbase. Sorry, I don't use that one yet. No, it's just like, so if you were moving really large volumes of money, you're getting 0.5% more. So you could really make like just moving things from Binance over. So like you're getting like a lot more Bitcoin. Like the Bitcoin price was a couple of hundred out on each one. And he figured that if you just kept on sending money from one to the other, and if you were a whale, you could really make like some big money on that.
Look, arbitrage. These are all concepts around arbitrage, yeah. And it's, in one exchange there could be a one price, and if you're fast enough. And it depends on the volume, but the arbitrage doesn't give that much money anymore. So I will look into that because I didn't have time, yeah. But I just find this probably was something to do with the APIs that they have, It has to be, because what was agreed between some of these top exchanges to avoid exactly that problem with the arbitrage, that people can buy on one and then sell on the other and make them really big money, But that is kind of the last couple of years, arbitrage is disappearing slowly. And then they try to do with SEX and DEX, and as well, the bots now and the APIs are fast enough to be able to counteract that. But it's probably an API issue, and if there was some sort of a bug, yes, you can make a really big buck if you have a lot of money, like you said.
And then you'll lose it on the fees.
Yeah. I have a question for I would love to hear what you guys think about Cardano in terms of the smart contracts coming out. And let me put context. I mean, it went like $2.90, wasn't it? And this is the first version that is coming out. Yeah? And first versions of any tech comes out with bugs. I mean, aren't people really carried away? I just don't understand. How can it be valued already 80 billion, 90 billion, doesn't have anything? It only really has a white paper for now,
As community. As a community, have you ever seen people? But have you ever seen like a group of people more behind a single project? Like XRP has a community, Ethereum has a community, but my God, does Cardano have a community? They're always like and they get them involved from the marketing strategy is so intelligent, and they're thinking it could go to $3.40 on the Fibonacci's. Yeah, so if they break $3. It will go to $3.40, like on the Fib. So
yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Honestly, really honest with you, because I can understand Ethereum when people put in money and so on, and I warn be careful because it's going to be bugs. There's going to be probably some really serious stuff,
But there's also going to be NFTs sold on there. There's going to be NFTs and World Mobile Token going live. There's so many projects coming over.
Yeah, I think Cardano has lots of projects, and it's kind of like a solution to Ethereum, because Ethereum has quite lots of problems, like transaction costs and so on. Cardano is one of the solutions.
But that's Solana, right? Solana.
No, Cardano as well.
Yeah.
Cardano, IOTA, the lots of the other, like Solana, Divinity, of these other, they are the so-called solution towards Ethereum.
Yeah, so Solana and Avalanche, actually Avalanche is a much, much bigger ecosystem than Solana, much bigger, you know, and much bigger, of course, than Cardano. And they already have smart contracts, both of them, you know. It's just, I do not understand why.
I think it's more like, you could look at like Cardano or IOTA or the other, they are more like a copycats of Solana, or they're just somewhat similar in a way. But I think I would personally call these a third generation token. So you're the first generation with Bitcoin, second would be ETH, and then third would be like Cardano, Solana, and so on.
Yeah, sure. I'm just speechless because, you know, Cardano, I know Charles, yeah, and since 2017 they've been trying to print this, you know.
Yes, brand new, yeah, it's brand new Cardanos.
Yeah, they don't have anything yet.
But most of the projects out there don't really have anything yet. You're buying into a white paper and a promise. You're buying into somebody's dream. You know, in terms of productivity and stuff, it's totally, the whole industry is completely overvalued at the moment because there are no projects. There is nothing that the general public wants to use. If there was, we'd have mass adoption.
I think that's it. We're still in a speculative phase, aren't we? It's an exploration.
If people are willing to pay like $200,000 for a digitized monkey that looks really crap, yeah, right. So that's where we are at the moment. That's what people are doing, yeah. Then why wouldn't people be willing to pay a whole lot more into this blockchain, which has been so well prepared? It's been tested and tested, years and years and years of testing.
No.
What are you going to buy more into?
Cardano hasn't been like that, okay? Cardano, believe me, I know. Okay? Yeah. It's just the last 18 months that they've been kind of in a very, very good phase. You know, before that, there was not much going on. Yeah, but I'm just saying, because the comparisons, you can't compare at the moment Cardano with Solana or Avalanche. Solana and Avalanche are like miles and miles and miles away from them, you know. And
so you are aware that there's a fork of Bitcoin happening in November that will allow for smart contracts on Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he's going to implement. I mean, Jack Dorsey is very pushing a lot for smart contracts on Bitcoin, but I agree with Vitalik. You know, it's gonna. I don't understand how he's gonna make it work really, because if he does that fork, and he tries to implement smart contracts, transactions are going to be terribly slow, you know. There's going to be problems with it. I don't see how it can happen, to be honest, you know. But, you know, Jack Dorsey sometimes comes up with cool stuff, so let's see.
But if that's the case, would not someone like, you know, Roger Ver and Bitcoin Cash explore that? Or do you think that they're sticking at that just as a payment rail?
No, because Jack would contact one of them, you know, either Roger Ver or the fake Toshi, you know, both of them have forks, you know, PCH or BSV or whatever. But well, I don't think they will be ready to do that either, you know, because those guys are very purist Bitcoin. It's what it is, Bitcoin, and that's it. Nothing else. But you know, just to finish, what I was asking about the Cardano was because if you look at all those projects, I said Avalanche and Solana, yeah, they actually make sense about the things they are doing, you know, and they're very far ahead. But the one that I'm really surprised that nobody's really pushing it forward is Polkadot, because. I mean,
Gavin gone very quiet, very quiet.
Gavin is the guy. Okay, let's not you think that was Vitalik or Joel. Yeah, Joel created smart contracts. Joel is the founder of MetaMask. You know? I had a conversation with him two months ago, and it was quite early. He was the guy who created smart contracts in Ethereum. You know, so Gavin was really the brains there, you know, on Ethereum. And when he came out of the Ethereum team, he created Substrate, yeah, and then it came Polkadot, yeah, out of the Substrate. And for me, that is probably the best thing out there. And I just do not understand why it's gone so quiet, like you said. I just don't get it.
He can't market.
Right.
Yeah, but he doesn't market himself. He's not out like Hoskinson's charismatic.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, he's marketing. He's like Steve Jobs. You know, he's very good at marketing. You know, that's it. You know?
It comes back to quite often when people talk about different blockchains and how it was like for VHS versus Betamax versus Philips 2000 type thing. Which of those technologies do you think was the most widely adopted? Was it VHS, Betamax, or Philips 2000?
Was VHS probably?
No. No.
No.
It was the SCART socket on the back of the TV that allowed you to use any of them. So you think about what Polkadot is. Polkadot is the interoperability layer. It's the SCART socket. So you don't really need to promote yourself because everyone's going to use you. Is it, you know, and this is my kind of thinking around it, that if it acts as an interoperability layer, then it just gets used. And you don't need to market yourself. You don't need a massive high visibility community. You don't have to worry about price because you're just taking a little bit off each transaction or whatever to provide that service. You think about most financial markets, it's the broker who wins. It's the market maker.
So would you consider Chainlink to be in that group then? I know they offer completely different services, okay, and they're completely different, but everybody has to use them.
Yeah, so Chainlink and Polkadot are the ones that I keep saying keep an eye on because they're providing that middle, it's not middleware, but it's a middle layer type thing, the interoperability piece.
Yeah, Chainlink.
We know people are using Chainlink, the oracle that provides the data, but I haven't heard of anybody actually using Polkadot.
It's very expensive, Chainlink. Yeah, so people are using less and less now. I actually did a project because I needed to do something, you know, get the off-chain data, you know, and we ended up implementing our own oracle on our own smart contracts because it was too expensive. When you start to do all the tokenomics and put the Chainlink, the cost, how much it's going to be, everybody said, whoa, no way. So I actually did spend time with the architect and developers, and we said, let's do our own oracle. And that's what we did, you know.
So then, if you don't mind me asking then, what about the graph? Do you know, do they do the same? But anybody can write their APIs.
The GLQ, Graphic Link, they're probably going to do much better. Well, they do like 100 times more than the graph does, you know. So they're still early. I think 3 months, maybe 4 months old. But I think they're going to pick up very fast. So there's some new projects coming on, and I think there's going to be one.
Who's that one? Sorry, what was the name of that one?
GLQ. Just Google GLQ token. It's Graph Link or Graphic Link or something like that, you know. And they're quite interesting, you know, but they are kids, you know. I spoke with the CEO, and they just do not. They're French, first of all. So you have to. I have nothing against French people, but they have that je ne sais quoi attitude that, you know, yeah, we know better than you. So kind of you know, and they follow that, you know. I try to point them in the right direction, you know, but I think they're gonna get there, you know. But so solutions like those are great, you know. But the problem that I see is that people at the moment, I think you said it right, you know. There's not much going on at the moment in terms of solutions that give usability or people get interested and so on. But the best blockchain out there, without any doubt for me, it's Cosmos. Okay, I look. Don't get me wrong. What Gavin did is a genius, Gavin. Okay, what he did with Substrate, you know, and Polkadot is absolutely fantastic. Okay, but there's a better one at the moment. I know he will get there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will get there. But for me, the best one at the moment is Cosmos. Okay, because Cosmos allows you to basically take a copy of it. You create your own blockchain, like you do, like with Substrate, but they solved a big problem that many of them have, yeah, which is interoperability between the blockchains. So if you take a clone of the chain, and I take as well, they released back in May, I think, or April, May, I can't remember, Stargate. Stargate enables that interoperability between the two blockchains at the same speed. And that is phenomenal, you know? And nobody is being able to do that for now, you know? So I think what I think is people that just jump where they can make money. So they go from Cosmos to Polkadot. For them, they make money in Polkadot. They go to Avalanche. They make money from Avalanche. They go to Solana. I mean, Solana the last 2 weeks, the price is crazy, you know? So that's what people go. The money goes where they can make money, you know, and everybody follows them. So you're absolutely right. And the whole sector suffers, yeah, because there's not much development then within those blockchains and those with applications, real applications that can start to bring more adoption. So I agree with you when you said that. No?
Well, I think Cosmos, again, it's the whole interoperability piece that I think is going to be really exciting, because it helps to solve this problem of various organizations or whatever building on their own blockchains and not talking to each other.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I agree. You know, there's the geopolitical aspect of these things. So for example, Cosmos, I think the guys are based in Singapore, and there's a lot of the Chinese, Asians, and the other side, there's the American guys that want Charles to succeed because that's the American blockchain, you know, Cardano, you know. So there's a lot of geopolitical stuff going on as well, you know, because there's wherever that blockchain is going to be, you know, it brings a lot of value and power as well to the region or to the country and so on. Also, we need to be aware of that, you know. There's a lot of people, big money behind Charles as well, right? So to make sure that it is the American blockchain that succeeds, you know. Simply.
Don't you think VeChain's on the other side though? Isn't VeChain like that's China's blockchain, right? So isn't VeChain like a healthy one to back?
Yeah, it's all right, but people don't trust VeChain. I don't know. Honestly, I don't look at it at all.
VeChain is going after a very different industry. They've placed themselves as the blockchain at the distribution industry. So they're not looking for DeFi, they're not looking for non-fungible tokens. They've placed themselves in a separate market that's more commercial than speculative, let's just say.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I guess that's the thing as well. Each of them are beginning to position themselves, because EOS is probably the other one of, you know, talking of blockchains or projects that have gone quiet.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think Dan Landmeer, he rejoined. He had left, and at the last I heard, he had actually rejoined.
Dan left.
So he had, but I haven't. There's nothing coming out of them.
Dan, you mean Dan joined them again?
Yeah, he rejoined. He left and then he rejoined them.
Dan never finishes what he starts.
No, he hasn't finished one project. And you know, one of his very first projects I was looking at the other day, and I was quite surprised with how the community have actually taken it on since 2017. That's BitShares. So that would have been the original, one of the first DEXs out there. And it's not as clunky. You'd actually be surprised if you wandered onto it now. So you would.
Look, I always ask everyone, you know, if you got $4.2 billion, what would you do? I mean, so much money, you'd produce the best tech you can in the world, you know, simple.
Yeah, they spent it on a domain or something, didn't they? The voice. Yeah.
Did they just go out and buy an NFT?
They went, no, they didn't even buy an NFT. They bought a domain, The Voice, which cost them millions. And then they stuck the rest of it in Bitcoin, and they're holding it in Bitcoin, and it hasn't been used for development.
Okay.
I don't want to start talking about that. Over a beer, I could tell a lot of things.
Moving on then, my favourites have always. I know Fernando is going to leap up on this one as well.
No, please don't.
No, don't worry. It's not Dogecoin. It is Ripple. Yeah.
Don't talk about XRP, please.
Has anyone heard about the court case that's going on? Any developments? Go on, Sam.
Yes. Yeah, big development on the email.
The 30th of August, isn't it? They're going to go back to court.
Yeah,
that's tomorrow.
Yeah, they got a big email, didn't they? Like, the director of the SEC had to quit, I believe, over the email that was leaked last week. So, I don't know. The SEC just seems to look weaker and weaker, and Ripple's case just looks stronger and stronger. Like that's the big rumor. But when you actually look at the details of the court case that are coming out, with the email, with the director of the SEC or the SEC being made to resign, it does look quite good. It does look quite good for their case, and you could imagine at least a 2x in the interim with that rumor mill that they look to be going up from, what is it, like $1.15, and if with that rumor mill and good news, I could see them getting to $2.
I can see it going the other way.
Well, isn't the theory always that, was it you buying the rumor, selling the news? So in some ways that the expected result is already built into the price.
So here's something for you guys to look at, but it's how people do. People really do not try to understand, you know. So at the moment, the banks don't use XRP. Okay, it's simple as that. They use X current, which Ripple created RippleNet because of the X current, that suite of X whatever, you know. I can't remember the name of all those, but all of the banks use X current, and you don't need to use XRP. None of the banks, you don't see any statement from any bank saying we are using XRP. Yeah. And then they try to push and say, we're releasing this ODL functionality, on demand liquidity, you know. And they went and they bought MoneyGram. Yeah. And then they bought MoneyGram. They bought a big stake on MoneyGram. And then they push ODL and say, look how great it is. You know, MoneyGram is using XRP. You know, came December, MoneyGram said, we don't want to use XRP anymore. And the partnership went down the toilet. There's only one company that does this remittance transfers, blah, 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 all of that stuff. That is using XRP, you know? Right. Nobody else. So what's the use case? Why are people so excited about XRP?
It's the court case. That's all it is. Look, people buy into news, right? So like what you got to think is, what is the smart money going to do? They're going to manipulate the dumb money, yeah? So you got that tasty little ball flag coming there, right? And that is going to break out, and all it needs is one whale just to put a nice little like rush on that and start it going up, and all the retail will come in, and then the smart money will just sell their coins and just keep those, and then just put the price back down again. Just manipulation, isn't it? You know?
Yes, absolutely. But the manipulation is not from smart money. Okay, let's be frank here. Do you know how much XRP Brad, and the Ripple management has? Do you know the percentage?
Yeah, they've got
30%.
58.
58. They had 72 until beginning of or end of 2019 or beginning of 2020. And then as they start to go up, they dumped on people. Of course, you know. So they are the ones doing this. You know, nobody else. Right? We have to. But I don't say you are wrong, but what I'm saying is a bit more skeptical. Maybe because I'm biased and I hate XRP. I don't consider it's a crypto. Everybody knows that, So you have to understand one thing. When the judge is going to analyze everything, he's going to analyze from a security or non-security perspective, Not what the process was inside the SEC. And they told their employees to not buy XRP or not. These are processes inside, like any organization. And, you know, that doesn't mean that the XRP, the SEC, or the argument, the legal argument, that it is not a security, you know. That's what it matters in the end. Is that legal argument? Is it a security or not? Does it pass the how we test or not? Yeah, all of those are the things that matter. Everything else that they are doing is distraction, so that they continue to dump the XRP on people. Yeah? So what's going to happen is very simple. They're going to get a huge fine, yeah, and maybe I'm wrong, okay, but I think it's going to be, they're going to lose the court case. It's going to be deemed as a security, okay? Just think about what happened in Congress, in the Senate, when they wanted to put all cryptocurrencies as security, yeah, a part of Bitcoin. And then they said, okay, Ethereum as well, yeah? So everything was going to be deemed as security. Do you think even for any chance, you know, that XRP now is not going to be considered as security? Yeah, it will, yeah? Then what's going to happen is, immediately after that happens in the court, yeah, or when it happens, the exchanges have to stop trading immediately. You know, not next week or next month or next hour, immediately, because they cannot trade anymore in securities. Okay. Once they do that, I mean, you can't do anything anymore. You can't sell your XRP. You're stuck with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen then? We don't know. Yeah? Will they have to pay even a bigger fine? Will it move to be traded as a security? Then it becomes like a stock. Yeah, it's going to be listed somewhere like a stock is as a security, and it will not be a crypto anymore. You know, it's not going to be listed on crypto exchanges. So then you deal it like you deal with stocks. Now, as soon as it is listed, yeah, guess what's going to happen? Everybody that has them will dump, because majority of people that has the XRP, still people think that it is a cryptocurrency, and they're going to be surprised because technically, you know, they had 3 servers. It was a database. Yeah, they were selling securities. Those guys, okay? It's as simple as that. And then not enough. Jed picked up a copy of XRP. Yeah, and went and created Stellar. They put a little bit of bells and whistles there, here and there, create XLM. It took another few billion. But don't forget, there's still a lot of question marks about Jed, you know, and he was the founder of MTGOX. If you guys still know what MTGOX was, you know, there's still big questions. So there's a lot of stuff around these that the judges are going to look at. I think straight away after the XRP, you know, Stellar is the next one, because it was an exact clone. Yeah, he took a clone of it and put some bells and whistles, and then he created Stellar.
So, just going back to the point you were making about if Ripple is deemed a security, effectively you won't be able to sell it because none of the exchanges will list it. Let's park that for now, because I'm conscious that the court decision hasn't been made by Fernando. It will actually be made by a judge.
I'm just saying, if that happens,
yeah. But I was going to ask, just moving on, talking of exchanges, the other news this week, certainly in the UK, is around Binance, that the FCA has actually approved Binance Market Limited registration, which kind of snuck in and no one really mentioned about it, which is where I think the UK banks are now beginning to accept Binance payments again, you know, inbound and outbound. I was just curious if anyone's had any experience in the last few days of actually trying to get their bank to talk to Binance again. Because I know the likes of HSBC, Barclays, they seem to blacklist the Binance account for a while.
Had similar problems here in Ireland. Okay. So we have, now they weren't blacklisted as such by the government way for approval. I'm not sure what happened. There was an EU thing. There was something said within the EU. I'm not too sure. But I found workarounds. So I did.
So previous sessions on these weekly calls, we've had people talking through working around it. Whether it's going via a different crypto exchange or a different currency, or going via PayPal, or going via wherever. So yeah, people have been finding workarounds. But what I found really interesting with the Binance announcement was it was curious that the FCA confirm that Binance was now regulated. However, made some sort of comment about them being unsupervisable, which...
Of course, it's very simple because, look, what they really wanted is to make sure that Binance didn't allow UK residents to do futures from their main user interface, okay? And they are very clear about that. You need to have a license for that. If you don't have a license, you can't do it.
Actually, that's not true in the UK, because it isn't a future classed as a derivative, and crypto derivatives aren't permitted in the UK for retail sale anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. They didn't want, Binance to operate that,
Right.
So,
yeah.
So what they said is you need to have a license. And then, of course, within the license, there are all of those things that the FCA says, you can't do retail, you can't do this, you can't do that, yeah?
Yeah.
But you are, if you are an investor or a sophisticated investor, whatever it is, I think it's the term. It's like if you earn more than 50,000 or 80,000 a year, I think you're considered a sophisticated investor, and you can, yeah? You just look at your own declaration. It's something around that.
Yeah.
So I think they basically changed their user interface. They had to stop, of course, the people taking money out and people bringing money in, because they had to, at some point, take a cut on their ledger and say how much the British people, who has what, And my guess is they had to provide that information to the FCA. Yeah?
I think you're right on that. I just noticed Sam's looking at his watch, which either means that he's checking his heart rate or he's working out we've only got a few minutes to go. Go for it, Paul.
UK and I'm not. PayPal was to go live in the UK with crypto purchases during the week. Did it happen? Do any of you know, or is it going to be a wake up tomorrow morning and it'll be live?
Don't know.
Sorry, I did see that it was coming, but I didn't know the exact date when it was going to go open. They're accepting.
I think it was fully announced officially last Monday, and they said within the week. So. Okay. None of my other friends in the UK had said anything by Friday evening to me, so I assumed it hadn't happened by Friday evening. But coins like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash might see some sort of activity as soon as it does go live, because they're the more affordable of the coins and, the mentality of the normal person. So just keep an eye out for that, because if it does go live, I think it should be a nice kick for those few little coins in there. So the UK market's sizable enough.
I've just checked PayPal's website, and it says crypto with PayPal coming soon.
I was aware that Bitcoin, ETH, and ADA would be available on it, but I did see Bitcoin Cash when this market was going sideways was the few that kept on going up a little bit more green than the rest.
Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin will also be included. So they're going with the same ones that they're going with that they have already in the States. So they have Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash on them. I think you might open up tomorrow morning and find that's live tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I'm speechless that Bitcoin Cash got there. So
I don't know.
Well, one of the good things about these sessions
I was actually more surprised about Litecoin is that...
Go for it.
I was actually most surprised about Litecoin, because I think Bitcoin would make some sense because there's the fork. Litecoin is a different one. So I was quite surprised something like Litecoin, which is also some sort of an altcoin and still kind of going into the acceptance area.
Yeah, Litecoin tends to be quite a popular one, though, doesn't it? Because it's fast and it's payment.
It's a fork of Bitcoin anyway, right? So, I mean, anything that is a proper fork of Bitcoin is always going to do well.
It looks to me from the coins that they chose that they have somebody in charge that was around when there was only a couple of blockchains around in the first place. And I've gone with the old reliables. These have been here since the start. Type of thing, instead of realizing that some of these were just forks for the sake of forking.
I'm worried now that maybe the friend. Yeah, we're going to finish in a moment. I'm just worried now.
A very quick one before you finish.
Yeah.
If for you guys, for whoever wants to stay behind, please when you finish, just stop the recording, and I want to tell something to the people who are on the call. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you have to stop the recording. Okay, please.
That's fair. Well, look, we'll call this session to a halt for the day. As always, thank you very much for everyone who came along.
Don't finish the call, please.
No, I won't. I won't. Don't worry. We'll hold on that. But I just want to say, if anyone's going to drop off the call, thanks for joining. Recording, as Fernando is keen to point out, we do make it available on YouTube as well, so people can subscribe to that and everything. So we'll close this session off now. And I'll just like to say thank you very much. Do come again. Do subscribe. Join.